So thinking about the title, Divine Audacity, let's focus on that primary word there that I have always loved, audacity. It's such a powerful word, such audacity. He's so audacious. And, you know, it can be interpreted negatively or positively, right? One of the meanings that I found is rude or disrespectful behavior, impudence. Ooh, okay. Another one was aggressive boldness or unmitigated effrontery. Unmitigated effrontery. Is that from Monty Python? He had unmitigated effrontery. Can you picture that? I can't. I don't know. He's got unmitigated effrontery. I agree. For example, he had the audacity to believe differently than me. Ooh. Have you ever been accused of having audacity because of your new thought prowess? God knows I have a time or two. Another, starting to get a little bit more positive on the meanings, boldness or daring, especially with confident or arrogant, very closely connected there, confident or arrogant, got to be careful, disregard for personal safety, conventional thought, or other restrictions. Count me in. I am all about having disregard for personal safety, conventional thought, or other restrictions, don't I, babe? Yeah, she'll agree. We will have been married 25 years this coming week, so. That woman has some audacity, I'll tell you what. Another more positive note, meaning given to audacity, courage or boldness, often combined with daring or recklessness. For example, her audacity in exposing her corrupt boss surprised everyone. Now, to me, that means brave, daring, courageous. A dual meaning when it's applied to spirituality. Not long ago, I spoke up about a bantering, like a not very smart person, on Facebook, and the guy got really annoyed with me because I wasn't agreeing with him calling somebody out on not saying Merry Christmas enough. It's the reason for the season. And I politely said, well, he's a reason for the season, and he's the reason for the Christmas season, but this is the holiday season. And he said to me, you have the audacity to call yourself a minister? And I thought, yeah, I kind of do. Speaking of having audacity to call myself a minister, I look out here now, and Reverend Denise was working this morning and working very hard and delivered a really wonderful message. She needs to be on her way home to relax, but she's not. She stayed to just be here for me. I look out and I see Reverend Dr. Mitch Johnson, probably the finest New Thought teacher I've ever met, who came to just sit and be with us. And it overwhelms me in a very good way. And I have the audacity to believe that this is in divine order. John McLean was the minister here, and I'll give you a little backstory that almost nobody knows. When John first took over at this church, or returned to this church, he talked to me about being his music director. And I even was plugged in for a Christmas Eve candlelight service, which went really well, and we started making plans. I had a key to the church. I was getting ready to make the shift. And then John, about a week later, said, I have been thinking about it, and I think that rather than risk a divorce we should call off the engagement. And I remember feeling like I was hit with a 2x4. I didn't understand. He went on to explain. He said, you know, you don't need to be anyone's Ed McMahon. I said, John, what on earth are you talking about? He said, I see you more than somebody's music director. I see you being the thing itself. And I said, John, well, that's the most ridiculous, stupid thing I've ever heard. I don't want any part ever of becoming a minister. You got to deal with a board. You got to deal with voting. That's never going to happen, John. So get it out of your head. But good luck. Now, our friendship well survived all that. We had lunch and we always laughed about it. But here's the thing. John was right. We wouldn't have been a good fit. It wouldn't have worked out well, and we both dodged a bullet. Because I can be a real pain in the butt to work with. Right, Mitch? I mean, it is what it is. Now, I want to add divine to divine audacity and share with you that, where is that? Beats me. Audacity. Oh, yeah. Of or relating to God. So God and audacity, do they belong together? Is that even nice? No, that wasn't just. Is that even nice? Does that make sense, anyone? Divine audacity? Can you be audacious? That forward, that standing so strongly in your truth, and still be godlike? Because some would say you can't. And again, I'm going to refer to my memory more than my notes. I still remember 2 spiritual teachers who showed up in my life who didn't mean to. One was a plane ride with a lady across the damn country. She's next to me, and we, for like 4 hours or yakking about this, that, and she's just full of questions. And I was sharing some of the things that had gone on in my life, which included being a mentor to a very troubled young man at the time, and just a lot of things in my life that I had done that I was proud of, that had lended some growth. She's got her tissues out. She's crying, oh, God bless you. Yeah, we're so lucky to have you as a fellow Christian. Now, I was raised Catholic. I was confirmed as a Catholic. I was baptized as a baby. I should have just shut up and said thank you. Now I will say thank you, and we'll be done. But then I was 20-something. I had to just go and say, well, sort of, kind of Christian, except that I believe I'm. Wow, I watched her body language go from crying to, oh, you're so wonderful, I'm so lucky to meet you, to she became the church lady in 22.5 seconds. Oh my gosh, well, I just hope the Lord Jesus Christ saves your soul before it's too late. And now we got like 25 more minutes to fly together in silence. And I'm afraid she's going to stab me with some scissors from her sewing kit or something. It was just unbelievable. And this was, a beloved child of God next to me. Too bad she didn't think so. Another one was my former wife, my test run marriage, where my 2 daughters derived from. And she, after our first daughter was born, was terrified that we didn't have a baptism planned. I mean, she was really terrified. We've got to do this quick. What do you mean quick? Why? What? Well, what if something were to happen to her and she's not saved? I'm like, oh my gosh, who did I marry? What's going on here? What was I thinking? Hello? Well, without my consent or agreeing whatsoever, she called a local Episcopal priest, I guess he would be called a priest, right, to come to the house and meet with us about doing a christening. And I was mad. Really mad. I didn't want any part of this. I didn't want any part of him. I didn't want to talk about it. Fine. But we got this point, this man's coming. Fine. So in walks Reverend Gordon Scruton, an Episcopal priest from Holden, Massachusetts. And I greet him like this. Yeah. Hello. And I'm not welcoming. I'm not happy. And he can clearly, he's in tune. He sees it. And he's very warm, very kind, very caring. He's listening to all my child's mother's concerns about all this. And he very warmly said, she's a baby. She'll be nothing but in the arms of God if anything happens to her. This is just a religious formality to make us all feel better. And my arms went down. Oh, okay. And he said, so what about you? What do you think about all this? Okay. All righty. Well, Gordon, here's what I think. I think Jesus was here to teach us, not save us, and blah, 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 blah. And there, what do you think of that? And he smiled warmly. He said, we could really use someone like you in our youth ed department. And he was serious. And he and I got so close, so dear. He then moved on to become the bishop of the Episcopal Church for that region of the world. And I loved him very much. You see how two meetings with a Christian or self-professed Christian yielded very, very different, audaciously different results, yes? It was reminding me about the story of a mother went to wake her son up for church one Sunday morning. And she knocked on the door, and he said, I'm not going. Why not? The mother said. She said, they don't like me, and I don't like them either. He said, now you stop that right now. I've got two reasons why you are going. He said, why? She said, well, one, you're 47, and two, you're their minister. It was little Mitchie. I was reminded last month as I prepared for a talk on Mother's Day for my friends at Unity of Chattanooga, that it was in this very building where I first heard Mother, Father, God. And I looked around to see if anybody else was freaked out by that. And there was. There was a guest singer from a local Baptist church here. And she stiffened up like a board. She was terrified that they had just referred to Mother, Father, God. And then a little bit later, they referred to Jesus and called him our elder brother. I thought we were going to have to resuscitate this poor girl. She was absolutely terrified. And seriously, you know, she was brought up in a church where you don't get that casual. You don't get that kind of regard. And you don't get to have a personal relationship with God or Jesus if that's your middleman, right? But here's my thing. I so loved the reference. And I know which church I'm at today. I haven't forgotten. I know CSL is not typically a Christian church. However, I would suggest that everything Jesus was trying to teach people about our beliefs and how powerful they are might make us more in line than we think. It is done unto you as you believe. Almost every Christian religion is all about that. Does it sound familiar to you here? It is done unto you as you believe. That's all he was here to teach us. The saving goes on when we accept this truth and act accordingly. I know what it felt to not feel saved, to feel lost, to feel in darkness and shame and guilt and mired in the stuff of life, until I accepted my truth that I am a child of God and could choose to see things differently, to forgive my past and to move forward. That's what that master teacher. Some say he was the only begotten Son of God. If you believe that and it's working for you, keep believing it with all your heart. Just don't tell somebody else who may think a little bit differently than you that they're not going to end up in the same arms of the same loving God as you. Because there's the audacity, folks. The one who dares to be a little bit different is not the audacious one. The blasphemy is not in declaring yourself a brother of Jesus, of declaring yourself as a bearer of light. You were sent here to be. That is not blasphemy. Ignoring your power, disregarding the love, the gifts that have been given to you, that's blasphemous. Stand up for a minute. I just wanted to see if you'd do it. It's just not really anything going on here. I just feel so powerful. No, no, do stand up. I want you to say this with me. I embrace, give yourself a hug. I embrace my divine audacity. One more time like you mean it. I embrace my divine audacity. I embrace your divine audacity. Please be seated. I love that. Let's see what else I can steal from here. Okay. I should probably acknowledge that, I did a little Googling, looking around for ideas I could steal from other speakers. And the very first thing came up was 2 pages of reference to a new book that's out called Divine Audacity. And I thought, oh, they're going to think I ripped her off. I just promise you I didn't, but I want to mention it because she's somebody that I really admire. See, I have a lot of wonderful teachers in my life. I have Denise, I have Mitch, Reverend Dr. Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Barry Manilow, even Kermit the Frog have all given me encouragement and inspiration. And on that list, I want to make sure I mention Reverend Dr. Tim Stewart as well, who was my guide and my teacher and encourager, and the one who ordained me in divine science 2 years ago. If divine science sounds vaguely familiar to you, those of you who follow the work of Ernest Holmes, he was an ordained divine science minister well before there was any such thing as religious science. I want you to know that. So I looked up and I found that Reverend Linda Martella Whitsett wrote this book called Divine Audacity. I'm going to order it after this talk because I don't want to be accused of having read it and stolen from it. And I encourage you to do the same because this woman is really special. There is just something delightful about her. We've been Facebook friends for a decade, and I finally met her in person. And oh my goodness, she just lights up a room. She's a beautiful human being, and she has this way about her on the platform that is extraordinary. Divine Audacity. It is on Amazon. And I think I get a commission if you mention me. If you just enter promo code Reverend Sean. I totally made that up. It's not true. So most of us have heard Marianne Williamson's. See, I can talk for 20 minutes about any subject that I'm passionate about and have to look to my watch and say, okay, time to go. But I realized as I was getting ready late last night, I found out that Marianne Williamson did a fabulous job of summing up everything I just presented to you over the course of 20 minutes in 40 seconds. Here it is. Our deepest fear is that we are not, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Well, actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Now, I want you to feel that line. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So I'm looking at a lot of beautiful faces. I see you. And I see the divine audacity within you to shine. Go do it. And thank you for letting me be here today. Love you.
Welcome to the Sunday service at CSLN. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family. The Center for Spiritual Living Nashville offers spiritual tools for anyone seeking a more fulfilled and meaningful life through a deeper connection with a higher power or universal truths. Be sure to subscribe below if you enjoy our programs.